All right, in problem 3, we're asked to find the quotient and remainder of this expression up here. And we can use synthetic or long division, so I'm going to go ahead and do them both simultaneously. So you can see that when we set up our two problems, one thing to note is that we use the 0, so the x value that would make this 0 here. So we have negative 2 here. Here we use the divisor x plus 2. Okay. So we set that up. We drop down our negative 3. And here we're saying, what should we put here such that when it multiplies by this, we get our first term. So then from here, for synthetic, we multiply the negative 2 by the negative 3, and we get 6. Here we multiply this term, negative 3x cubed, times our x plus 2. And notice our first term should match up. And then we have our next term here. And then for this part, we subtract. We're finding the difference that's left over. And notice that when we subtract a negative 6, it's like adding 6x cubed to the x cubed that we already have. So we have 7x cubed. And then over here, we're adding. Notice we used a negative version here. We have a positive 2 here, and we subtract and we add. So those reconcile in that manner. And then we just continue the pattern. We repeat that where we multiply negative 2 times 7, we get negative 14. We add them together, we get negative 10, and we keep on that process. In the same way here, we find we have this 7x cubed. We want to say, what should I multiply my x by to get that? So 7x squared. And then we multiply it through, we subtract, and of course we drop our next term in the process. Okay. And so we continue our multiplication and addition. We get our terms here, and then we get a remainder of 8. And in the same process, we'd go through here, we subtract. Notice a couple of things. One, negative 21 plus 20 would be negative 1. For some reason, a lot of students put positive 1 there. In the same way, if we're doing this version, we have negative 21 minus negative 20. So we're taking off 20 of the negative, so we have 1 negative left over. And so when we go through that process, we multiply by our negative 1 times x to get negative x here. And then as we do that, we have 6 minus a negative 2. So we're going to get 8 for our remainder. We get 8 in both places, which is exactly what you should expect. Notice all these numbers line up. And we can say, okay, our quotient then, and note that our quotient, because we had this quartic term, or quartic expression divided by a linear, we should drop by 1 degree, which we do here. So we have a cubic, and then we have our remainder of 8, as we talked about before. Another way we could write this is having our quotient here, and then plus 8 over the divisor. Okay. And that's our process of dividing, whether we use long division or synthetic division.